Hello, and welcome to this IsleVote21 online meeting for the Isle of Wight County Council seat of Fairlee and Whippingham. A brief word for the benefit of the public. IsleVote21 has been formed with the sole purpose of enhancing democracy by providing an unbiased platform for candidates. We have no affiliations or funding, and no candidates are aware of what questions will be asked today, although a list of topics was distributed in advance to enable candidates to prepare. All 138 candidates in this year's election have been invited, either directly or via group and party leaders. The following candidates have been invited to this meeting: Matt Price, Conservatives; Michael Smith, Green Party; and Patricia Packham, Lib Dems. And in attendance, we have got Michael Smith from the Green Party. Welcome, Michael. Michael, obviously. You'll be asked questions from our pool of questions, plus others that have been submitted by the public regarding island-wide issues. We haven't received any questions specifically to this locality, so it will be questions that we have given to interviewees, and also then questions submitted by the public about island-wide issues only. You have been informed that there is a 2-minute limitation on answers, so I'll raise my hand as we approach that cut-off and just request that you finish promptly afterwards. So before we commence the questions, Michael, I'll give you the opportunity to have a couple of minutes to make a personal statement. Thank you.
So, hello, fellow residents and the community of the Isle of Wight, and also Fairlee and Whippingham. My name's Michael Smith. I'm 35. I am your Green Party candidate for Fairlee and Whippingham. Also, I'm a single father to a 7-year-old that goes to the local primary school in my ward. The thing I want to bring to this island and the council is to bring new change, more respect for people, and bring on past COVID. And I think the things I like to do would be amazing. We can do it and work together. So back to you.
Thank you. Okay, so the first question that I'm going to give you today, Michael, could you name one policy area that the council should lobby central government for? I'll repeat that. Could you just name one policy area that the council should lobby central government for?
Well, one of the main policies on that thing is bring back more local services control to the Isle of Wight, living from schools into that thing. That's one thing I would say. It's more of a lobby from my point of view. I think because more stuff, again, services have been passed on to Hampshire, so that's what my policy would be on that. For that, they should be lobbying.
Okay, thank you. So to bring schools back to Isle of Wight control rather than to be controlled by Hampshire.
My girlfriend Natalie Thomas would like to talk to Michael Smith.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the next question I'm going to ask, what relevant experience would you bring? What have you achieved in communities in the past?
So in the community in the past, I have actually, one of the main things I've managed to do is help. One of the big things in 2019 was to do a petition on behalf of the Newport Town Council and the residents for St Mary's Roundabout Junction. Although I didn't manage to stop it, it made it the point to the council that it has to stop any big project or big buildings they got to do. They have to go make a public council meeting. And one thing I'm asked to get out of it, although it went ahead, I'm asked to get a public meeting at Medina. Also, I've done for the community is set up a 70-30 Wave Trust that I ambassador, that's set up by Natalie James Thomas on Isle of Wight. And I also, for that is trying to help go across and try and stop the trauma with ACEs with children by 70% by 2030. And then my other thing I've luckily done is actually a first aid through the local Citizen Advice Bureau. So going out to the community, trying to get advice out when you run around. And also recently I've just done part of my on the estate is trying to sort up dangerous parking and safety around the school, Summerfield School. There's been a lot of issues and problems around there recently. So that's one thing I'm doing. And basically out on the community all the time, trying to help and listen to people.
Excellent, thank you. Do you want to just take the moment to maybe turn off your notifications?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Right then, so moving on to the next question, thank you for that. You've been given £20 million to spend on a project to revitalise the island. What springs to mind that would give the maximum benefit?
So the maximum benefit would have to be sorted that will be invocations for, I would say, again, into education, social services, mental health issues, and more than NHS, and also to local refund to local business and try and regenerate what we've got. I know at the moment it's going to be difficult coming up post-COVID, but I think that's what it should be referenced into it. I know it's going to be hard, and also try and spread it out to the other services like the roads improvements and more community stuff for community families around local issues again, really. And it's got into your town parishes and into Newport and Ryde and across the main local functions, really. And just trying to get through all ages so everybody doesn't get left behind. I think there's a lot more that can be done. But that's what I think it's got to be remixed for. It's tried to put everything so nobody get left behind.
So just to recap, so that's kind of focusing on COVID recovery.
Yes, because I think the whole thing really has been quite sort of, it has bad in and out, and also trying to generate onto like a whole green future, really. Because it's been dreadful, really. I think it needs to rebuild up to the future into the next couple of years.
Thank you. Okay, and actually we're talking about green futures. This next question is around transport. This is a question that's come from the public.
Yeah.
How would you work to encourage less reliance on motor vehicles and develop more sustainable methods of transport?
So for the starters, we know electric vehicles is going to be put into 2030, and for that, it's going to be a long time of work trying to get the road infrastructure for electric vehicles. And also being personal, I am for electric vehicles, but I know at the moment it's going to take time. So the best thing I would like to encourage people is a bit more public transport, buses and bikes, but at the same time, with people who've got disabilities and older people, they have to rely on the car. But it's just trying to mix from the younger age upwards to use more public space. Or, for instance, if you're close to work, don't drive, walk to work if you can. And it's like school. If you're able to go to school, walk to school, instead of using your car. But then, if people with disabilities, then they probably will have to be exempt. And about a fact like that. So that's one thing I would like to see more stuff on that. But again, more greener vehicles is definitely the best way of doing it. And hopefully, once we get in the next 10, 15 years, then we will have more the technology to go green. But I think the main thing is trying to encourage people to use your buses and even cycling paths, everything uses cycling and literally walking. Again, I don't even drive a car. I use the bus, public transport, trains, and a walk. So,
okay, excellent, thank you. And it's interesting actually that you mentioned about people with disabilities in terms of transport, because this next question that's been sent in from the public is as follows. 1 in 5 people have a disability, equating to around 28,000 island residents having some form of disability or long-term illness. What commitment will you give to reduce the inequalities for disabled people on the island with a view to improved facilities, services and employment for disabled residents and visitors?
Right, so for me, my background, I have a learning disability. I suffer dyslexia, and I've been boarding school or state tutored. So I know a little bit background how people at the moment in the 21st century is struggling. And for this, we need more funding, more support, and no more cutbacks. Because the main thing is they rely on is more support through supporting people, and I believe that's sort of been gone down a bit. And I think we need to have more access for people in wheelchairs, again, and any form of disability. It could be in speech to problems walking and everything. So again, people should not be left behind around the island. And again, we should have more services, more community help, and more sort of social clubs things. I think people with disabilities at the moment feel quite lonely, and especially up to last month, although I think it's getting sorted, that supporting people actually got stopped by certain housing. So it's one thing, again, that support should not be in the community, should not be stopped at all. And I know it's going to be looked into, so people will get extra help and support. But it's like the best thing as well, what that should keep going on transport, is actually the free disability bus pass. Again, that should carry on because they rely on it. If they don't rely, if they can't use that, then they'll get left at home. And I think, again, it goes with the COVID. People with disabilities have to sort of been left behind, really. Not everyone, but there have been. And I think, again, it just needs to get round there out for more. So that's what we like to encourage, more stuff for disabilities, learning difficulties, everything, really, even in schools and everything else. Even the younger children for the SCNs as well, to get the help in schools, because nobody should be left behind. I think everybody's equal, so that's how it is.
Excellent, thank you for that. Okay, we're now going to move on to a question regarding travel. So we've had many questions actually pertaining to cross-Solent travel links, ferries, reliability and costs. How would you address existing concerns, and do you have a vision for improved connectivity?
So you see, it's a split one, really, because you have people that will like that. I can understand, and I do appreciate their opinion, where people would like to see a fixed link. But reality, that's going to take a long time. For the short term, myself, I like boats, ferries, I've worked for British Ferries myself, so I know about cross-channel ferries and the Solent ferries and now. So at the moment, what they've got to do is improve their services. One thing, bring the ferry prices down to an actual fair price for the islanders, because it's too expensive. And also, one of them I like to see, Red Funnel, is do what White Link do, is more fairer travel for disability people if they're just going over, say, to Southampton. Because at the moment, yes, I know disability people will just rail past and get a discount if they go and buy train with Red Funnel, but I think they should be doing the same. Even the same with hover travel. So I'm not trying to pick on Red Funnel or anything else, but I think it is. But then White Link have got to do the same, and I think we should have better ferries with better access. I know Red Funnel, yes, with Redjet, good improvement with Redjet 7 and 6, but the ferries for them, we need brand new ferries because they're 25 years old, so they need to go greener, more access for the disability bill. And then the same with Fishbourne, 2 new ships, well, Queen Victoria, good ship, and Sinclair, good ship again, but that needs to be put. And then the West Wight, but then the whole thing for the Solent travel needs reforming and trying to see how the companies are going to work out. Because day we use them a lot, and we have visitors all the time, and we just can't be that point of we are so expensive. Because at the moment, you're cheaper to go to France if you want it for the day instead of coming over. And I know you can see that. I heard today, going on the Redjet today, taking my son over to Southampton for the weekend. Someone pays £1,000 every month for just going on the Redjet for the season ticket. And I'm thinking, come on, you've got to make it fairer. So that's what I think I'm doing. Oh, no, I can understand about how the ferry works, and I can understand executives and renowned in Fan Collins. I've worked Fan Collins before with British Ferries and Condor Ferries, and it's very hard to get down to the minimum so they don't lose out. But then they shouldn't be profiting because it is a daily service, not a monthly, not a seasonal service like most of the ferry companies are. So that's one thing I would like to see.
Okay, thank you very much for that. The next question is quite a different topic. And this question says that is asking what you would do to address all the empty shops in each town. The main streets are dying. So what should the council do to specifically address this issue?
So again, with the council on this issue, they should relook and have a look what the actual high street is, and then see if they can turn it into private flats, possibly. But if not, to regenerate it, to get more, is trying to invite local business to see if they can want to start up. And again, what they need to do to get business started is bring the local rates down if they can. But I know it's difficult, but it needs to make it fair, because I found out that some businesses in Newport are saying they reckon it's expensive than riding cows, but then some people think, oh, it's cheaper than else. So that's what I think to do. And trying to make any business want to come in, they should make it that they are actually long term, instead of like short terms. I know we're in the typical time at the moment where the economy is very hard at the moment and businesses are finding it hard, but it's just, we can't have empty shops all again. And I think it's got to be definitely local business has to come first and start up. But I think we should give more help for local businesses to start up a shop. It could be anything, boutique and everything else, because it's very hard to start if they want to start a business. And I know a couple of local businesses have sort of pulled out because they've gone online, so that should happen. So that's what I'd like to see. And again, I can see that for housing and that on ground site, fair enough, they could probably turn it in. But then again, it needs to have a look at first, do a report, and then try and go through, because it's got to pick up, because we can't have empty towns all the time. And it generates the money for people, visitors, and your local community.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for that. So this is actually going to be the last question. We kind of whipped through, as it's you just here on your own for this session. The last question is specifically about your local community. So this asks, knowing your local community as you do,
Yeah.
What local issue would you like to address that you know is of concern to residents?
So I think the big it's a couple big issues really, is try and keep the green space completely green without building. That's one thing I want to improve, because there's been so much stuff been going on with Sea Close Park that, again, that should be kept green. Okay, have community sports functions put it on there, be a good idea. But just keep a nice green field. And also a lot of the land through down the Fairlee Road, again, that should be community kept green. And then my next one would be road safety through Whippingham. And also, because, well, I'll go back onto that again, but the reason is road safety is because, again, Whippingham is loads of accident on the main road into Whippingham into East Cowes, so the speed limit. And then on my estate, Fairlee estate, through Acton Drive, off Cook Avenue, get the speed limit down to 20 through that whole estate, and also trying to keep up the main issues with the parking and even dangerous park, really, because 2 days ago I had a closed safe myself outside Summerfield School. So that's what it needs to sort of be doing, the main thing. And also I want to keep is the local number 39 that actually goes through my ward, that older people and myself go in the morning, and I'd like to see that being kept going through the state, so older people can get through down to town and Aston and House. And also a lot more I like to see down in Medina, try and get some listed pickings. At the moment, if you go down towards the Blue Harbour down that way, then breeze on that footpath between Sea Close and there, there's a lot of litter around. So again, we start to make it nice and clean and pick it up. But then, and also I like to find more stuff for younger families in the community, because it's my heart. I feel that in the summer holidays, there's not much where people on low budgets and everything else. So again, that's one thing I like to put on to that. And also just make that the ward happy and great again, really. We all, all ages, I respect all ages, we've got elderly, younger families in this ward and house. I think we just go in a fair way and sort of enjoyed it. So that's what I like to stand.
Excellent, thank you. There's lots of issues there that you've thought about locally that you've shared. So thank you very much for that, Micheal. So before we end this recording, I'd like to give you the opportunity to give a short closing statement or to reflect on the process of this evening's interview.
So again, if you vote for Michael Smith on the May 6th, the Green Party on Fairlee Whippingham, I can promise you one of my things is I won't have a pay rise for being a councillor. Fairer on tax, council tax, more helpful people on struggling income. I would like to see more helpful people with mental health and trauma, especially the Project 7030 to put through the schools. See more helpful the COVID-19 recovery on the green space, no building on green space as well. Green Eco Claire and everyone else. And also for the people in Whippingham, I'll be backing them for the floating bridge, although that's not part of my ward, but people who live in Whippingham just use the ferry. So that's one bill I'll be supporting us on that thing. And then also basically road safety and see what we can do to make it safety through the whole ward from speeding, lane parking, and also see what the council can do with Cobham's Bridge and everything else. And I think we just need to make it strong that we've got to try and make a difference. I know it's been hard times. So that's what I want to do. I've got faith in it. I'm not here for making money here. I'm here for the community, the residents of the Isle of Wight. If I have to, I would like to do it for free because it's down to my close to my heart. And I think no one on the Isle of Wight should get left behind. So that's where I stand. And I hope everyone, well, whoever you vote for, good luck on May 6th.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Michael. I mean, obviously, you're the only candidate in Fairlee and Whippingham that has taken up this opportunity to share your thoughts, your views, and your policies with the potential voters. So thank you very much for your time. Before I end this recording, I'd just like to say thank you to everybody who's watched, and don't forget to vote.
Yeah, thank you.